This is your Weather Xtreme video for Saturday, October the 17th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. And yesterday we had a replacement of the air mass, and looking at the trace on my dew point from the dew point in my weather station, and you'll notice that yesterday afternoon and into the evening hours that the dew point dropped from 55 degrees to 35 degrees. So the dry air really came in. We can see the front on the surface map down into the northern Gulf of Mexico as high pressure is replacing the weather system, and that is bringing in a nice northerly flow. We can also see that northwesterly flow with the fairly strong and rather fairly deep trough over the eastern half of the country, that bringing some drier and cooler air to the area. By the way, that air is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, our sky watcher up at Black Creek reported 33 degrees this morning. I think with the atmosphere so dry, we probably won't see much in the way of frost. Temperatures are pretty chilly across the north-central U.S., especially the western Great Lakes area. And you notice the cooler air dipping down into the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. Across central Alabama, we're generally in the 40s. It is a little bit cooler up in the northeast. You can see Fort Payne at 36, but Tuscaloosa is at 46, so nice range across the area. Lots of freeze and frost advisories for the areas north of Alabama. That's all those light blue and dark blue areas. And the red over Alabama is a red flag warning. Because of the dry conditions, we want to avoid doing any burning. If you want to know what the forecast is for the next 5 days, just look at the QPF chart. No rain expected over our area, according to the QPF chart. And on the Storm Prediction Center, there are no severe weather expected for days 1, 2, or 3, although there is a couple of marginal areas, especially on day 2. In the tropics, nope, we're not completely done with hurricane season just yet. Remember, hurricane season runs till the end of November. So we got to keep that in mind, but there is an area of disturbed weather that has moved ashore over Belize, and that is causing a good deal of heavy rain and will cause heavy rain over that area for this weekend. As it moves out into the southwestern Gulf or the Bay of Campeche, there's a possibility of developments. In the eastern Pacific, we have Olaf, and we have another area of disturbed weather just off of Central America. That area not expected to develop anything in the near future, and Olaf is expected to go from tropical storm status to hurricane status later tonight and into Sunday, and become a major hurricane as it progresses across the Pacific. All right, let's take a look at the GFS model run for this morning from the 06E GFS run, and there is the surface map as the high pressure is settling in over the southeastern U.S., and tomorrow Sunday, we'll see that surface high centered over the Ohio River Valley, especially the western sections of the Ohio River Valley. So we're going to have another cool morning tomorrow morning. And we're noticing that the upper trough tomorrow is moving slowly off the east coast of the U.S., so it should be getting out of here. On Monday, we see that we're coming more under a ridging pattern as that trough moves on out. We're developing a fairly deep trough over the western U.S., but that keeps us in good weather with the surface high centered over Virginia and making its influence felt all the way back to Texas. Looking at the upper atmosphere again on Tuesday, we stay under a ridge. Wednesday, we're still under a ridge. And Thursday, we're still under a ridge as the ridge bulges up and keeps everything to the north and to the west of us. And what we're concerned about, though, is that down in the Bay of Campeche in the southwest Gulf of Mexico, the GFS is showing an area of rain and slightly lowered pressures. That could be the development of a tropical system that is over Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula today. The ridge continues to stay strong over the eastern half of the country on Friday, and we're right under that ridge. But notice that we're seeing a little disturbance move up the side of the west side of that ridge, and that is that disturbance. Interesting that we see the closed low over at the surface over South Texas in the vicinity of Brownsville, and the European a little stronger, but the European doing exactly the same thing. We get out to a week from today, Saturday, we can see that little disturbance coming up through East Texas and into Arkansas, and indeed the GFS suggesting a low in the vicinity of Houston, and the European doing much the same thing. A little bit of kind of a double-barreled low there, but we'll have to be watching that, so the tropical season is definitely not over. All right, looking out into Voodoo Country, or week 2 there, we see that we're more or less under a ridge as the westerlies are kept off to our northwest, but notice what's coming in from the southeast. We have another potentially tropical weather system that is expected to move up, recurve and move up along the east coast of the U.S. By Thursday, the 29th, we can see weak ridging going on in the westerlies, again, well north of our area. We get out to the end of the period, 372 hours Sunday, the 1st of November, and we have a big ridge centered over Florida and the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted from Oklahoma City on Sunday morning, so check back to see how things are developing. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great Saturday, and Godspeed.